Chapter Mutants created by people.
All right. That's enough, I interrupted Alexander. For me, Anastasia is a hermit with unusual abilities, to be sure, but a human being nonetheless. For now, it's best to rest on that. If you overthink all this, you could flip your lid. Start up your buggy and let's get going. The launch brought us to the abandoned village in about 4 hours. As I disembarked on the familiar bank, Alexander got out of the launch too, and went back to what he had been saying before.
Anastasia's gone, Vladimir. Think carefully. Maybe you'll cancel your excursion to the tiger glade after all? You won't get to it.
I'm going. I picked up my backpack and put it on my shoulders and suddenly saw Alexander pull a large hunting knife out of its sheath. Dropping the backpack, I scanned the ground for something to defend myself, but Alexander bared his right arm to the elbow and with the knife slashed his own arm. He covered the blood spurting from the wound with his white linen scarf. Then he asked me to get the first aid kit out of the launch and tie up his arm. Without understanding a thing, I did so. He handed me the blood-stained scarf.
Tie this around your head.
What is this for?
At least the hunters won't touch you. They don't shoot at the wounded.
What are they anyway, your hunters? Fools? They'll approach and immediately see the sham.
They won't approach. Why risk it? Each has his own trails and lands. If someone needs to go into the taiga with good intentions, then first he'll speak to the hunters, tell them about himself and his intentions, and agree on his hike. If he has good intentions, they'll help, advise, and may guide him themselves. They know nothing about you. They might give you a slap without asking questions, but they won't shoot an injured man.
Maybe I should thank you, but somehow I don't feel like it. I took the blood-stained scarf and tied it around my head.
No need. I'm not doing this for thanks. I feel like doing something at least. When you get back, light a fire on the bank. I'll pass nearby from time to time and see the smoke. I'll pick you up if you manage to return.
As I approached the tiger, I saw 2 dogs moving about 100 meters away from me. Probably from the village, I thought. It would be good if they came closer. Things are calmer with dogs. I even tried to lure them, but the dogs wouldn't approach, continuing to move in parallel with me. And so we entered the taiga. Alexander was wrong to try to frighten me. The taiga did not seem hostile to me, perhaps due to the feelings that here, these trees and slopes, lived Anastasia. She may have been strange, but she was still a good person. Most importantly, however, in this taiga, with its slopes and sounds and air so unusual for a city dweller, lived my own son. That made the taiga seem just a little dearer. It's harder to cover 25 kilometers from bank to glade than over an ordinary road, because I had to climb over fallen trees and skirt bushes. When I'd walked with Anastasia, the conversation had taken my mind off these obstacles. The main thing was not to let them put me off course, and I started checking my compass more and more often. I thought, how does Anastasia find the glade without a compass? There doesn't seem to be any trail either. Resting after every hour of my journey, by midday, I had reached a small stream about 2 meters wide. When I'd walked with Anastasia, we'd crossed the stream too. I decided to cross to the other bank and make an extended halt in the glade adjacent to the river. I walked across the trunk of a half-rotted tree that had fallen in the stream. The tree fell a little short of the bank, and I first tossed my backpack across and then jumped myself. But somehow I stumbled. My foot caught on something and got sprained or strained. A terrible pain shot through my leg and even made it all the way up to my head. I lay there briefly, tried to get up, and realized I wasn't going to be able to walk. I lay there contemplating what to do next. I tried to remember what you're usually supposed to do when you have a sprain or strain, but I was having a hard time. The pain was probably getting in the way. I decided to lie there and have a bite to eat. Perhaps the pain would begin to subside. If necessary, I would start a fire and spend the night. By morning, maybe my foot really would be better. After all, everything gradually heals on a person. That was when I saw the dogs again. There were 4 of them now, and on the other side, another 2. They weren't going anywhere. They had lain down on different sides of me, about 10 meters away. The dogs were different breeds, one an Airedale Terrier, another a Boxer, and the others some mix. There was even a little poodle among them. The dog's fur was clumped, they were skinny, and the Airedale's eyes oozed. I remembered the captain's mate's story about dogs like this, and my awareness of the situation even made me stop feeling the pain in my foot for a while. The captain's mate on my headquarters ship had told me that people who wanted to get rid of their 4-legged pets took them somewhere far away and abandoned them. If they were abandoned at the city limits, cats and dogs would group around dumps, which gave them at least some nourishment. When the dogs were taken to remote places, far from the city, they formed packs and hunted their food, attacking animals, even people, especially solitary ones. These dogs were more frightening than wolves. They tried to waylay a wounded or exhausted victim and attacked simultaneously. Feral dogs that have formed a pack are more dangerous than wolves because they know people's habits better and hate them. They are angry at people. They don't have experience hunting game. Like the wolves, but they do people. It's especially frightening if in the pack there is at least one dog that was trained to attack people. I once had a dog that I took to obedience school. Among other training in carrying out all kinds of commands, there's an exercise in attacking a person. The instructor's assistant puts on a padded coat with long arms, and the staff teaches the dog to attack him and bite like crazy. If the dog does well at the exercise, they encourage it and give it a treat. They learn their lesson, smart dogs. I wonder whether there is a single creature in this wide world other than man that would take the time to train other species to attack his own kind. The dogs surrounding me tighten their ring, I thought. I have to show them I'm still alive and can move and defend myself. I picked up a short stick and threw it at the closest large and shabby mongrel. The dog dodged the stick and lay back down. There weren't any more sticks nearby when I took 2 cans of food out of my backpack. While I was getting them out, the smallest dog, the poodle, crept up from behind, sunk its teeth into my trousers, and leapt back while the other dogs observed. The other dogs were probably looking to see how I would react to the poodle's attack. I threw 1 can at a very large dog nearby and another at the poodle. I had nothing else to throw. Despair filtered into my consciousness. I pictured the dogs tearing my body apart and eating pieces of it. Then, still conscious, I would see everything, doubled up with pain, because the dogs wouldn't be able to kill me right away, and I had nothing to help me die quickly, without prolonged agony. It was also too bad that I hadn't been able to deliver my backpack with gifts for Anastasia from readers, or the various baby things my son needed in my backpack. Half the backpack was filled with readers' questions and requests. Lots of letters, unusual letters about the soul, about life, and lots of poems. Unprofessional poems, maybe. Not always rhymed, but in a certain sense fine. Now, all of this would be lost. It would rot here. Then I got an idea. I decided to write a note and put it in the cellophane bag with the letters. A note. If anyone found the backpack, they could take all its contents and the money too, but the readers' letters would be sent on to my daughter Polina. I wrote in the note that she should publish them when enough money had come in from the books. These sincere poems could not be allowed to be lost. Many may have written poems for the first time, and they were heartfelt. I could not allow the only poem in their life to be lost. This note was hard to write. My hands were trembling from fear, no doubt. Why is it that man clings so hard to life, even in a situation when it is absolutely clear that it's all over? Still, I finished the note, put it in the cellophane bag with the letters, and cinched the packet tighter so moisture couldn't get in. And then I saw the dogs surrounding me, having drawn quite close, suddenly began to perform a strange maneuver. One by one they crawled away from me. Some half rose and looked away from me in another direction and lay back down, as in ambush. I stood on one foot to see what had distracted them, and I saw Anastasia running swiftly along the stream, her magnificent golden hair fanning out behind her as she ran. Her swift running was so beautiful that I forgot the danger and admired this picture. All of a sudden, the thought scorched me like lightning, the dogs. They sensed that their prey might be taken away, and they were preparing to attack Anastasia, who was swiftly approaching us. The starving, brutalized mongrels would fight like crazy, and to the bitter end for their prey. Anastasia alone wouldn't be able to do anything with them. The dogs would tear her to pieces, and I shouted as loud as I could, "Stop! Stop, Anastasia! Dogs! There are wild dogs here. Don't come here, Anastasia! Stop!" Anastasia heard me, but did not slow her swift running the least bit. She merely raised her arm as she ran and waved it. What is she doing? I thought. That unusual phenomena can't help her now. Very quickly I took small glass bottles of juice for the baby out of the backpack. I started throwing the bottles at the dogs, trying to draw their attention back to myself. One of the bottles landed, but the dogs paid no attention whatsoever to my attempts. The dogs undoubtedly realized who their real threat was. The dogs rushed at Anastasia simultaneously from all sides as soon as she ran into their circle. And then, you really had to see this. Anastasia converted all the energy from her running into spinning. All of a sudden, she went from a full tilt run into spinning like a top, the way ballerinas do on stage, only faster. Hitting themselves on Anastasia's spinning body, the dogs flew off in all directions without doing her any harm, but they immediately started to prepare for a new attack on her once she had stopped. I crawled toward Anastasia. She was wearing her light shift. If she'd had on at least a padded jacket, it would have been harder for the dogs to bite through that. Anastasia dropped to one knee. She stood in the circle of resentful dogs half-crazed from hunger, but her face expressed no fear. She looked at me and said quickly,
"Hello, Vladimir. Do not be frightened. Rest up a little. Relax. Do not worry. They will not do anything to me, these hungry little dogs. Do not worry."
Two strapping mutts once again rushed from different sides at Anastasia, who was resting on one knee. Still talking and with a lightning-quick gesture as they leapt, she grabbed each dog by a front paw and turned them around in the air, leaning her own torso away slightly, letting the dogs collide with each other and slam into the ground. The dogs lay back down, doubtless preparing to attack again, but they didn't. Anastasia stood up, flung her arm up, and then abruptly lowered it and slapped her leg twice. 4 full-grown wolves instantly leapt out from behind the nearby tangle of bushes. Their swift leaps held such determination they seemed uninterested in the strength and numbers of the foe they faced. They would fight them. The dogs tucked their tails between their legs and took to their heels. The wolves rushed past me, and I felt their hot breath. A very young cub that looked like a sheepdog puppy raced after the wolves, trying as hard as it could not to be left behind, and so darted past, taking tiny leaps. When it came even with Anastasia, it suddenly braked with all 4 paws and even turned a somersault. It jumped up and twice licked a fresh scratch on Anastasia's bare foot. Anastasia quickly picked the cub up by the body and lifted it off the ground.
"Where do you think you're going? It's too soon for you. You're still little."
The cub kept twisting in Anastasia's arms and whimpering like a puppy, and managed to break away, or else she herself let it go. Once it was on the ground, the cub again quickly licked the scratch and set out to run down the wolf pack. But why? I began speaking to Anastasia, who had run up to me. "Why didn't you call the wolves in right away? Why?" Anastasia smiled and quickly felt my legs and arms. In a pure, reassuring voice, she said,
"Please don't worry. I had to show the dogs that man is always stronger than they are. They are afraid of the wolves anyway, but they are attacking a human being. Now they won't. don't worry. When I realized, you were coming. I ran to meet you. Why did you take such a risk? There you went. I lost you at first, but then I guessed.
Anastasia ran off to the side, picked some herbs, and then searched in a different spot, and picked another. She rubbed the herbs in her palms and cautiously rubbed the hurt foot with her moist palms.
It will pass. It will pass quickly. You will live to see your wedding.
I noticed that she used all kinds of sayings. I asked her, "How did you learn those sayings?"
Sometimes I listen to how different people talk, to learn how to express a bigger thought in a shorter phrase. Don't you like it?
Sometimes it's out of place.
But sometimes in of place? It's good when it's in of place.
What in of place?
You said it first. I just repeated it.
Tell me, Anastasia, is the glade far?
You have gone halfway. Together we will reach it quickly now.
Probably not quickly. My foot still hurts.
Yes, it may hurt a little more. Let your foot rest up while I help you walk.
Anastasia easily lifted the heavy backpack, turning her back to me, dropped to one knee and suggested,
Hold on. Climb on me on my back.
She spoke so quickly and decisively that I did climb on her back, wrapping my arms around her neck. Anastasia rose quickly and lightly and skipped along. All the time she spoke on the run. I'm not too heavy?
A burden of one's own choosing is never heavy. I'm a peasant, I'm a bull, I'm a woman, I'm a mule.
Stop, let me down. I'm going to try to walk myself.
But it's not heavy for me. Why?
Why did you say that about a mule? I'm a woman, I'm a mule.
That's just an expression. I said it inappropriately, didn't I? Are you insulted?
It doesn't matter, I just want to try to walk myself. Just carry the backpack a little more.
If you're going to walk yourself, then you need to rest your foot for at least another hour. You sit here for a while. I'll be quick. I'll be right back.
Anastasia ran off for a while. She returned with a bunch of different herbs and once again began rubbing them into my foot near the instep. Then she sat down next to me, smiled slyly at the backpack, and suddenly asked,
Please tell me, Vladimir, what is in your backpack?
Some letters from readers, presents for you from them, and I bought a few things for the child.
Could you show me the presents now, while we're resting?
And will you show me my child, my son? You're not going to say he shouldn't see me until I'm cleansed, are you?
Fine, I will show you your son. Only not right away. Tomorrow I will. First you have to understand a little about being with him. You will understand quickly when you see him.
Tomorrow, then, I undid the backpack and started setting out the presents for Anastasia first. She picked up each item carefully, examining it with interest, and stroked it. She began ringing the Valdai bells given her by Olga Sidorovna, and when I handed her the large, pretty flowered scarf also given her by a good woman, Valentina Ivanovna, I immediately realized that women are women. Much in them is identical. Anastasia took the scarf and unfolded it. Then she tried the scarf in many different ways. She tied the scarf around her head, like on the Alyonushka candy wrapper, and in yet another way. Laughing, Anastasia tied the scarf around her waist, like a gypsy, threw it over her shoulders, and paraded in front of me in a kind of folk dance. She neatly folded the scarf, placed it on the present set out on the grass, and said,
Vladimir, please thank each woman for her soul's warmth that was sent with these things.
I will tell any of them I see. But I have nothing more to show you. The rest isn't for you. It's for our son. Everything he needs. You may not use it. I'll show you myself when we get there.
Why don't you want to now? We're sitting here resting after all. I'm very curious to see.
I didn't want to show Anastasia what I'd brought for our son because I remembered what she'd said at our first meeting. You would like to acquire all kinds of pointless rattles for our son, but he doesn't need them. You do, for your own satisfaction. What a good and concerned person I am. Nonetheless, I decided to show her, because I too was curious to see how she would regard our civilization's achievements in caring for children. I began showing Anastasia the diapers and telling her how effective they were at absorbing moisture when the baby peed in them so that the baby's skin didn't chafe, telling her everything I'd seen in the television ad. I showed her the baby food. You see, Anastasia, this is baby food. It is simply a masterpiece. It contains all the substances essential for a child, and it has vitamin supplements in it too. But most of all, it can be prepared easily. Dissolve it in warm water and the cereal is ready. Do you see?
Yes.
Well then, that means the factory chimneys of our technocratic world aren't just blowing smoke. Among them are the smokestacks of factories that produce this baby food and the packaging. See? The handsome, rosy-cheeked, smiling baby on the package?
Yes.
The last thing I showed Anastasia was the erector set, and I immediately commented, "This is a children's erector set, not some pointless rattle. It says here that it's especially designed for child development. You can make a car out of it, like in this picture, or a train, a plane, a house. Our son will put it to good use a little later. Right now, of course, it's still too soon for him to make sense of how it moves and flies."
Why too soon? He can make sense of this right now.
You'll see. The erector set will help him do that.
You think so? Are you certain?
This isn't a matter of just my certainty, Anastasia. Many scientists think so, as do the psychologists who study the child's psyche. See, they've written their conclusions in the annotation.
All right, Vladimir. All right. Don't worry. You'll do everything as you see fit. Only please, first look at how our son lives. Then you can determine for yourself what he needs above all.
Fine, as you say. I rejoice that Anastasia hadn't disputed the necessity of the things I'd brought. I'll look for myself and decide.
But for now, let's hide your backpack. Later, when you decide which thing he needs first, I'll run here and bring it, or bring the whole backpack. Right now it's too heavy to carry. Your foot hurts, and you do not want me to carry you.
Oh, all right. We can hide it for now. Only let's take the letters. They contain a lot of questions for you. I can't remember them all.
Fine, we will take the letters.
She took the packet of letters. I leaned on her shoulder, and we started off toward Anastasia's glade. We arrived at Anastasia's glade only late that evening. As before, there was nothing there, no structures whatsoever, not even a hut. Yet I felt as if I'd come home. My mood even lifted, and a certain tranquility came over me. I felt sleepy, probably because I'd spent all night talking to Alexander. Great, I thought. There is absolutely nothing in this glade, and I feel as though I've come home. Clearly, the sense of home doesn't lie in the size of your apartment or even castle, but in something else. Anastasia immediately led me to the little lake and suggested I bathe. I had no desire whatsoever to bathe, but I thought it was better to obey her in everything for now, in order to see my son sooner. After bathing, when I came out on the bank, I was colder than I'd been in the water. Anastasia chased the water off me with her palms, rubbed me with herbs, and my body became almost hot. Then she held out her shift and said, laughing,
"Please put this on, Vladimir. This will be your nightshirt. I'll soak and wash your clothing. It has a strong smell."
I put on Anastasia's shift because I realized the smell had to be eliminated. Is this so our son won't be frightened?
For him too.
But I'll be cold sleeping in just this shift.
Don't worry. I've taken care of everything. You will get a good night's sleep, and you will not be cold. You will put the packet of letters under your head for a pillow. I've thought of everything. You will get a good night's sleep, and you will not freeze.
Warm myself on a she-bear again? I'm not going to sleep with a bear. I'd rather get along on my own.
I made your bed so that you would not be cold or hot.
We walked up to the dugout where I slept before. Anastasia moved aside the branches hanging over the entrance. I smelled the pleasant fragrance of dried herbs, crawled into the dugout, and plunged into the grasses. A pleasant sleep enveloped me languorously.
You can cover up with my blouse, but even without it you won't be cold. If you like, I can lie down beside you too. I'll keep you warm.
I heard what Anastasia said through my sleep and replied, "No need. You can go to our son. Warm him."
Don't worry, Vladimir. Our son already takes care of himself a great deal.
How can he? He's still little? Before I could say another word, I plunged into a deep and peaceful bliss.
End of chapter. Join us for the next segment of The Dimension of Love, Book 3 of the Ringing Cedars series, A New Morning, Like a New Life.